Chapter 1092, titled The Rampage Incident of the Triant Kuma in the Holy Land. Before we begin, please kidnap that like button and throw it in a pool of lava, and press the subscribe button, and turn on all post notifications so you don't miss any uploads. Now let's begin. The chapter begins with an Eurus shock. Someone from afar says, "What are you doing?" The other day, it was the Revolutionary Army. The mysterious person is revealed to be Sakazuki. Sakazuki says this is becoming quite the historic destruction incident. Kuma, a lowlife, says, "Fleet Admiral Sakazuki, what a useless bunch of soldiers." He then tells Akainu that he ordered lobsters for dinner the other night, but it's the first time this has happened. What will become of the food supply here in Mary Joieuse? One of the celestial dragons tells Sakazuki to leave that matter aside for now, and claims that he's injured, that Triant Kuma, he's nothing but a slave, hurry up and execute him. Sakazuki in the moment says, "Hey Kuma, if we can't control you, then I can't let a dangerous individual like you be on the loose. Your mind should have been non-existent anymore." Sakazuki also adds that Kuma is dead and asks where exactly is he heading. Sakazuki uses a move called Hellhound to completely punch half of Kuma's face, just like he did with Whitebeard. Okay, wait. Before we go back to the chapter, do you really think that Kuma can survive this injury? Leave your answers in the comments section below. Going back to the chapter, Sakazuki says to Kuma that it seems like he still has blood flowing inside of him. Kuma begins to run, and Sakazuki tells Kuma to stop right there. If you call Kuma a coward in the comments, just remember this man tried to go to the Holy Land and free slaves, and I don't blame Kuma for running here. He still has a daughter that he really wants to see again. So running was an option for him. Sakazuki melts Kuma's leg, but Kuma is able to escape using his paw fruit, which is quite impressive, being able to run away from a man whose sense of justice is basically evil. I think Bonnie accessing Kuma's memories activated a program on Kuma. He must be on his last mission. Probably searching for an object and sending it flying, like a manuscript or else. I hope Kuma is going to Egghead, and seems like the red line was just an obstacle his DF couldn't bypass. In a flashback, Sakazuki tells Bonnie she can howl all she wants, but Kuma's mind won't ever come back. He himself volunteered to be turned into a combat weapon. Bonnie calls Sakazuki a liar and says there's no way he would volunteer to that. That's just no way that he would leave me behind. What Bonnie said brought me to tears. She knows full well that Kuma's mind is dead, but like a child, she still believes that her father's mind is not dead, and someday he will come back to her. Bonnie tells Sakazuki that, "Don't tell me he gave you the slip, and you call yourself a fleet admiral." Sakazuki in the present day, while looking at the sky, says, "You are just a puppet now, who has lost everything, including your will and your mind. So where are you headed off to?" And it looks like Sakazuki is getting more and more annoyed with the world government. Wouldn't surprise me if he decides to start taking matters into his own hands sooner or later. The chapter then changes perspective to the Egghead Island incident. Someone says, "Destroy all the sea beasts' weapons." In a next panel, a pacifista is seen destroying some of the beasts. One of the Marines says, "We have arrived at the Fabrio phase. Occupy the island." Admiral Kizaru has broken through the lava phase, located above the clouds. The chapter then changes perspective to Luffy versus Kizaru. Luffy uses Snake Man to counter Kizaru's speed, while in a heated moment Kizaru says, "You truly are the man who defeated Kaido, strongest creature in the world." Kizaru also adds that, "You truly are formidable, but a pirate like you protecting Vegapunk, what's the reason behind this?" That's the question I want to ask. Luffy asks Kizaru, why do they want to kill Old Man Apple? Luffy giving a person a bad nickname yet again. Kizaru says, "Kill him while flying away." Luffy says, "How far did he flew?" Kizaru tells Luffy that he obviously doesn't want to kill him. "I have known Vegapunk for a long time, so please don't get in my way." Kizaru uses a move we haven't seen before. While doing this, he says, "Acceleration is power." Kizaru kicks Luffy far away. Kizaru in a flashback remembers Vegapunk saying, "It's humanity's giant robot of dreams." Kizaru in the present day destroys the robot by splitting it in half. While the robot is crumbling down, Luffy's screams of pain are heard by Frankie and Bonnie. The Thousand Sunnin falls down. Lilith, the women I would definitely do anything for, says, "Frankie, Bonnie, run." Frankie, while all of them are running, says Vega Force 01 is. Lilith says, "Damn it all our dreams, the Vega Force 1 has been destroyed." Frankie says, "This is unforgivable, is the Sunnin okay?" Bonnie says, "Straw Hat has just been blown away." Frankie says, "You bastard." Kizaru says you've grown Bonnie. Kids these days grow fast. You have a grudge on him, right? I have been given orders to assassinate the Vegapunk that you hate. My enemy target has changed Bonnie. Bonnie uses an attack called Trace Death Thrust. Kizaru dodges Bonnie's attack. Kizaru says, aside from my mission targets, please don't make me hurt people. I know more than I already have. Kizaru uses a beam from his feet. Frankie says, no, over there is the. Bonnie gets blown by Kizaru. Frankie attempts to use Radical Beam. Kizaru quickly vanishes and heads straight to Vegapunk, and Frankie is standing there confused and says Stella is in danger. Frankie quickly contacts the command room. In the Laba Phase command room, Vegapunk and Atlas are celebrating for cracking York's cord. Usopp says, Frankie, you guys alright? I just heard a big explosion over there. York says, what? Curse it all, you damn geniuses, because Vegapunk and Atlas cracked her code. Vegapunk tells Frankie that now the barrier can be disabled. Have you brought the Vega Force 01 and the ship back on the island? Frankie responds and says, about that. While this is happening, Kizaru reveals himself to the Straw Hats and the Vegapunks and says, your plan has been foiled, Vegapunk. Your giant robot of dreams has been blown to bits. Vegapunk screams in fear. Says, when did you please understand? Usopp says it's game over. Kizaru, with a sad expression on his face, says this is a tough mission for me too. I don't want to drag this on for far too long. Luffy, in the heat of the moment, appears and grabs Kizaru in a palm of his hand and says, that hurts. Kizaru, after witnessing Gear 5 with his own eyes, says, it finally appeared. So this is the rumored. Luffy says, how dare you send me flying all the way down? I have crossed the barrier 2 times. I thought I was gonna die. The chapter then changes perspective to a giant ancient robot that has waken up because it heard the drums of liberation in Luffy. The chapter then ends. The fact that Luffy can turn into a giant is mind-blowing. Interesting to see Kuma take similar actions to the ancient robot the same chapter it awakens. Considering Vegapunk studied it and programmed Kuma, I can't think that's a coincidence. With the Vegaforce destroyed now, I also think the ancient robot will take its place in the plan somehow. Maybe it's set to follow Joy Boy's orders. And Kizaru is in trouble. He thought he could walk into a super high-tech lab all his own without encountering a love-eating meat giant. He managed to destroy one super robot. But in doing so, he only made things worse for himself by awakening a super much more powerful giant ancient robot. And in this chapter, we finally saw Sakazuki outside of his office for a change. The real cliffhanger of this chapter was the awakening of the ancient robot, and will it try to go back and destroy the Holy Land, just like it did centuries ago? And how would it even get to the Holy Land? And who else awakened the ancient robot 200 years ago when it attacked the Holy Land and couldn't be stopped? It could not be Luffy or Joy Boy. It makes you wonder. And it means there was a third person who awakened the Nika fruit. Well guys, please leave your thoughts about this chapter in the comments below, and would kindly take the like button and put it in a freezer. And please subscribe to my channel and turn on all post notifications so you don't miss any uploads. That's it, thank you for watching, I'll see you in another video.